As 12th man, Moody, Boone, Jones, the two Wars, Border, Healy, Taylor, McDermott, Whitney and Reid. And West Indies, very strong side. They've got themselves going at the moment and they're playing very well indeed. Haynes, Lara, Simmons, Richardson, Arthurton, Logie, Hooper, Williams, Ambrose, Cummins, Benjamin and Roger Harper is 12th man. Alan Border decided Australia would go in first. Moody and Boone were the opening batsmen. We join play now in the 4th over. 10 runs on the board without loss. Benjamin is the bowler. Taking strike is David Boone.
Good shot from Boone. Loves them on leg stump. Beautiful on drive. That'll go to the boundary. Yes, it's 4. So that takes the pressure off the Australians just a little bit. They needed a boundary. And Boone has delivered.
Yes, he drives beautifully on both sides of the wicket, David Boone, particularly in this area. He just waits and hits it with a full face, helps it on its way, beats the wideish mid-on, and it's going to be 4 all the way. To make Winston Benjamin think about his line as well.
Oh, and that's called no ball, and it's also been missed by the keeper, and it's gone for 4. Well, that's a bit of a blow for the West Indies. Ambrose digging the ball in there, and underneath went Boone, and it was then missed by David Williams. It dipped a bit.
It was poor cricket, wasn't it? It was certainly no ball. It was in very short. And Moody did swung away from Williams, but didn't go for 2 hands, just knocked it away with the glove, placed away for 4 no balls.
Yes, it was clearly a little bit of swing after the ball pitched. But, poor David Williams there. He went for 1 hand but didn't get there. In the air, and he's just missed that. Now Hooper's at first slip. The question is, did it carry? I think it may just have got there. One way or the other, he'll be up a yard, I can tell you that. I think he probably dropped that.
He's found the edge, Curtly Ambrose, 2 or 3 times already today. That one was going towards first slip. Couldn't quite tell whether it carried or not. There's the nick. It's a thick edge. It looks to be whooping away and diving down, and just in front of Al Hooper, who didn't dive forward but got an unlucky bounce.
Here we have a change in the bowling. Anderson Cummins into the gap. Good shot, David Boone. That'll run to the boundary. It's a quick outfield. That's his second boundary as well. Half volley right in the slot there. Boone doing his stuff.
And David Boone, in superb touch, has been driving down the onside. This time he goes through cover. Opened the face just a fraction to beat mid-off. It's always going to be 4.
Curtly Ambrose to continue. 8 overs have been bowled. Good shot, Tom Moody. That's the first half volley he's got from Ambrose, and he's smashed it beautifully down the ground. His first boundary. Lovely timing.
Yes, just a fraction over pitch, hit it on the up, hit big follow through and timed it to perfection. The outfield lightning fast, raced away to line. A good positive start by Moody and Boone here.
4 for 33. He likes bowling against India by the look of it. 5 for and 4 for.
There's a noise down the leg side. Loud appeal from all the West Indian fielders in front and behind. Blues reporter from India, not the least bit moved. He can't quite understand what all the noise is about.
Well, Cummins and almost all the West Indian side convinced that David Boone had got some glove on this down the leg side for a comfortable catch. Down to David Williams. He goes straight up. And whether it's glove or just a little bit of forearm, almost impossible to tell, and that's probably why Philu's reporter has stayed where he is, completely unmoved.
It's in the air. There's another loud appeal. There was a suggestion of an inside edge onto the pad. Carl Hooper has dived forward and to his right from first slip. A loud appeal from Anderson Cummins. David Boone unmoved, and so was Philu's reporter.
Peter reporter's been unmoved all day by the look of it. And again, Anderson Cummins with a very fierce shout. Certainly come off the pad. Hard to tell whether it's hit the bat on the way through or not. But as soon as Hooper caught the ball at first slip, diving away to his right. Cummins went up and looked suitably disappointed not to get the verdict. And Richard Richardson took time off there just to have a quiet word with Anderson Cummings.
This one a better length, but David Boone driving on the up. Again, times the ball very well. Even the long legs of Curtly Ambrose can't get him there in time.
Exactly the same place that David Boone hit Winston Benjamin earlier in the day a couple of times. And this time, having had two good shots, stopped by fielders, he's found the gap perfectly, hit the ball straight down the ground there. It's a very, very good shot. And Curtly Ambrose unable to cut that one off.
The third boundary for David Boone, and some suggestion that he's running between wickets during this series has not been all that good. Timing again very good. This time Anderson Cummins takes some pace off it and allows Curtly Ambrose to keep it down to 2 runs. Australia at the end of 14 overs, none for 50. A very good start here for Australia on a very fine day, around about 20 degrees, sunshine, beautiful day here in Melbourne. Perfect day for cricket, and should be a good evening. And whilst Australia now cannot qualify for the semi-finals, Tom Moody decides that with the field up, there's plenty of room in the air.
Well, it's certainly been a good start from Australia. And 3 more there to Tom Moody, going over the top. Decided to play this ball on the up. Didn't quite get hold of it, aimed rather more over extra cover than over cover, which is where the ball eventually went. But they're the 50 partnership, 53 runs off 87 balls, and that's a good rate. David Boone being the senior partner, he's 28 not out. Tom Moody, 16 not out.
David Boone has no trouble picking the gap straight down the ground. That's his 4th boundary for the innings. Timing the ball very, very well.
This time Winston Benjamin over pitching, clean full toss to David Boone. And he's in the sort of form that he's not going to miss these. And again, straight down the ground. That's a sign of a batsman very much in form. Hit it straight and time it, it's going to be 4.
Never too many fieldsmen down behind the bowler. Struck well on the onside of the wicket during the innings, and just shows that he can hit it on the offside as well. In the air, very good try from Carl Hooper at slip. Frustration for Winston Benjamin. Almost the middle of the bat there, just gliding it down the offside. So a little bit more luck there for David Boone.
This would have been a brilliant diving catch. Hooper fairly fine at first slip, making a lot of ground to his right. Just getting the fingertips on the end, and he's been in the action today already.
Phil Simmons, the medium pacer, really the specialist batsman who does a bit of bowling. Tremendous shot. He really gave that everything.
We were just talking to a man a moment ago, Vivian Richards, who hit the ball on this ground with just as much power. But I suspect no more than that.
Carl Hooper, the baton is followed, will bowl his 10 overs straight out. Just past Lara. Desperate effort to save it.
Very warm welcome to all our viewers in the Caribbean Broadcasting Union. They'll be watching this match with avid interest. They know now that their team, West Indies, must win to get into the semis. It's the single-leg David Boone. 50 for Boone and no wicket for 89 for Australia.
Well, they haven't managed to run him out in this innings, and throughout this tournament, That seems to be about the best way to get David Boone out. He has been in really great form. It's been his running between the wickets that has caused him problems. 50 off 86 deliveries.
There wasn't much in that. Tom Moody takes giant strides down the pitch. Very tall man, terrific stride, but ooh, it was the fumble that did it. It saved him. Direct hitter, a clean take, and he was gone for all money.
He's placed that well for 4. That's 7 off the over with that boundary off the last ball. And Australia no wicket for 94.
That's how Tom Moody likes to hit them. Hit skimmers. I think, man, you played with Somerset. Brian Close used to encourage players to hit skimmers with.
Yeah, I think so. He always used to say to us young players that when you get a chance, you can go over the top. You know, he didn't obviously give you any stick for doing such. That's a good shot here. I'm pretty pleased with that.
Phil Simmons making a century in one of those matches. This has been the most successful combination for the West Indies. Man out there. And he nearly misjudged that. Not well judged at all by Winston Benjamin. He took it a bit casually, and the ball dropped on him. And in the end, he really had to scramble to catch it.
I thought he did pretty well, because at some stage I thought he was going down his throat, but for some reason he seemed to have done pretty badly with his judgment. And in the end, I think he did well. Richie, I think, would be very pleased.
Richie Richardson would be relieved to get the wicket. You see here that Benjamin at the last minute has to dive forward and gets it just centimetres from the ground. So Phil Simmons has struck, and Australia losing the first wicket at 107. Beautifully timed.
And the score has moved up now to 124 for 1 in the 31st over. I think that's pretty good going in.
Yes, David Boone has certainly given them a platform for a big score. And taken. David Williams, the keeper, takes that one pretty comfortably. So Dean Jones on his way, and Anderson Cummins has struck a good blow for the West Indies.
Actually, I think that was a little bit too close to cut, and it followed him, and for some reason he didn't get away with it. I think David Williams did the polishing up in the end, where he had 2 hands to it and took a rather comfortable catch.
That's the second wicket down for Australia. The score at 128. Alan Border back in the number 4 position that he's occupied for many years as Australian captain.
There's an example of a good cut shot too, beautifully timed by Border into the fence for 4, just backward of point. Harper tried to get to it, but it was right off the meat of Border's bat. Lovely shot.
Alan has struggled for timing during this series. He didn't have any trouble with this one. One of his favourite shots, the cut shot. We've seen from him so often in the past, not so often during the World Cup. He looks in a very aggressive and confident mood at the moment.
Big appeal there, and he's given him out, LBW. That must have just held up a little bit. It's not often that you see the left-hander given out. He was, mind you, playing from the crease, and I suspect that one just held its line.
Very hard for a right-hand bowler to get an LBW against the left-hander. Got a pitch in line and straighten, which that one has done. It was right on middle stump. David Shepherd had no hesitation. Alan Border continues his run of outs for the World Cup. He's out for 8, Australia 3 for 141.
It's Mark Waugh now. Ambrose opened the bowling, no wicket for 25. That's a good shot by Boone into the gap on the offside. That outfield quick, and into the fence it goes. Cannot afford to drop it short to him.
David Boone may be having some problems with a knee injury, but it hasn't affected his footwork here. Down the wicket, making room for himself. Getting outside leg stump to give himself room on the offside. His form has been very good throughout the summer. He's been the premier Australian batsman.
And that's wrong-footed, the backward point fielder. And off the back of the bat, 2 runs to Mark Waugh.
Well, you could say this is nicely placed. Not quite intentionally, but it's dropped right in the gap over point between third man and deep cover. Mark Waugh trying to pick this up a long way over square leg. And the shot not matching his ambition, but comfortably 2 anyway.
Well, he's got him this time. Or has he? Williams has got him. Took a little time to do so. And again, very good bowling by Hooper. This time sending it down the leg side. And Mark Waugh has been stumped.
Well, David Williams did well in the end. It wasn't the cleanest of takes, but he managed to get the ball back to the stumps. He fires it down the leg side. And you can see a little fumble there from David Williams. Mark Waugh thinks he might just have got away with this one, but eventually the finger goes up. And West Indies are allowed a little gentle celebration, and it's the end of Mark Waugh for 21. Australia are 4 for 185.
So one Waugh replaces another, with Steve coming in at the dismissal of Mark. So some nerves here for David Boone as he approaches his 100. He gets his 99th run. And in the course of the over, could well have been an edge onto the pad of Williams earlier of the bowling of Hooper. He's gone to 4,000 now, but he would be more concerned with the last run to get him to a century. So 5 overs remaining, and David Boone, who will now have strike from Andy Cummins, is within 1 run of his century. And that's it. So David Boone on 100.
Well, the crowd have loved every moment of that. It's a very fitting way for David Boone to finish off his international season this year. He has been Australia's leading batsman. He's been in very good form all the way through it.
And that's a catch. Under it is David Williams. It's taken a long time to get there, but in the end it falls safely into his gloves. And David Boone goes for an even 100 for the 2nd time in the competition.
Well, David Boone tried to celebrate his 100 with a slightly over-ambitious shot. He's aimed a long way over deep mid-wicket, which is where he wanted to hit this ball. It's come off the top edge of the bat, and it's hung in the air for a long, long time. And David Williams very, very cool underneath it. Very calm indeed. And a wicket for Andy Cummins. And Australia 5 for 189.
New batsman is Ian Healy.
Yep. It's good running. He's up for 200 for 5.
So that means that the West Indies will probably be batting in very even light. So that's in their favour.
He's got him. He's bowling with his last delivery. Yorker. Perfect length. That's a vital wicket for the West Indies.
Well, we've seen Steve Waugh bowled during the World Series competition, bowled with a full toss. I think it was Patrick Patterson of the West Indies that clean bowled him with the full toss. And once again, that one going past the bat on the full. So it's the 2nd time that I can recall against the West Indies that Steve Waugh has missed a full toss. Australia 6 for 200.
Peter Taylor makes his way to the centre of the MCG. A good crowd in, around about 25,000. It's well chipped away, and he finds the gap. Simmons coming around. May just get it, he doesn't. So that's 4.
He's a very big man, Phil Simmons. He had a long run there. A sprint of anything up to 60 metres. It was nicely placed. On that occasion, Taylor getting to the ball on the half volley.
Winston Benjamin to bowl the final over. Peter Taylor. Peter Taylor chips it over mid-wicket. Should get at least 3. Well picked up. So 3 to Taylor. 1 ball remaining.
Similar sort of players, Ian Healy and Peter Taylor. Both players hit the ball into the gaps pretty well, run well. Don't clear the boundary. They're not going to hit 6s, but they'll hit a few boundaries. In between time, pick up a lot of 1s and 2s.
Final ball, that struck to deep cover. Roger Harper, they don't come back to the second. So after 50 overs, Australia 6 for 216.
That was a great performance from the West Indians. It looked to me as though Australia was set for 240, even at a pinch 250, and they clawed their way back, Richie Richardson's side. A very good effort. 6 for 216, 42 to Moody, a century to Boone, who retains his form. Jones and Border missed out. Mark Waugh 21 and Steve Waugh missed out. Unbeaten Healy on 11 and Taylor on 10. And the bowling figures for the West Indies, it was down the bottom where the damage was done. Ambrose none for 46 and Benjamin none for 49. But Simmons 2 for 40, Hooper 1 for 40, and Cummins 3 for 38. So it depends entirely on whether or not the West Indies can hold their nerve out there. They've got a big job in front of them.
And Haynes gets his first runs with a delicate leg lance off his 17th delivery. Desmond Haynes finally gets off the mark. Oh, that's a glorious shot. It's another boundary for Brian Lara. That's his 38th in the competition. And a typical Brian Lara shot.
I bet he hasn't hit too many better than that. That was a beautiful shot. And as you'll see, he hits it and virtually stands there. Just a little jog to the other end, but not much more than that.
Oh, he's really got onto that. No ball has been hit harder today. That was 4 from the time it left the bat.
Well, that was a Viv Richards shot if I've ever seen one. So Viv used to whack him away over square leg. Beautiful shot.
He's out, caught at square leg off a full toss. Dean Jones holding in the catch. And Desmond Haynes will be very annoyed with himself.
Came right off the middle of the bat. Travelled like a rocket, but straight at Dean Jones. So there's a nice break for the Australians. Craig McDermott didn't get all that excited about it, but he has the first breakthrough. West Indies 1 for 27.
New batsman in Phil Simmons. He's come off a century against Sri Lanka in the last match. And a specialist opening batsman coming at number 3 here, with Desmond Haynes having gone. Full toss got him on the legs, and usually you put those away for 4. This time Haynes put it in square legs hand. So here's Simmons. He's given him first ball, leg before. Umpire reporter raises the finger, and Simmons goes first ball.
Simmons looked like he was a little shocked to be given out. He did appear to have his front foot across a fair bit. It may be that umpire reporter didn't feel that he played a shot, but he did seem to have the pad outside the line of off stump, and in fact he did get it outside off stump. And I think that Phil Simmons is a little stiff to be given out there. Simmons is out first ball for a duck. The West Indies are 2 for 27.
He comes out with his team needing to win this match to go into the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Slightly in the air. Should be good enough to get 3.
Shouts, he's gone. He looks at his pad, Richie Richardson, but there's a big noise. And that's a big blow for the West Indian side.
Well, you reckon he's out? I'm not so sure about that. Richie Richardson having a look down his pad there, very disappointed. A vital wicket for Australia. This will be a very interesting replay. See if we can pick exactly what the ball did hit. Just keep an eye on the pad. Well, it looked to me as if it beat the outside edge of the bat, and he is indicating there that his bat hit the inside of his pad, and that was what made the noise. Well, that didn't have any impression whatsoever on umpire reporter. He's given Richie Richardson out for 10, and that's the score, 3 for 59.
Keith Arthur makes his way to the centre. All of a sudden, West Indies in a lot of trouble at 3 for 59.
That's a very good shot through the gap on the offside. That'll be 4. Or is it going to slow up? Oh, it's just slowed up. There's a little bit of heavy grass down in the boundary down there. That's that new area. I had to replant the grass. Looks as if it was going to be 4.
Keith Arthur just struggling there to put that on ball. And Whitney always at the left-handers. It's quite wide. It's well struck. Beautiful shot. Jones is the man coming out for cover point. They should get 3. Yes, that's good running. They need to be aggressive between the wickets, the West Indies. It's a good challenge, 217 on the Melbourne cricket ground. You must run well.
There it is. It's 150. Laura looks as if he's struggling a little bit. Pull a few faces out there. He's obviously got a problem with one of his legs.
Umpire reporter had no chance there because he was in a terrible position. It wasn't out, but he got himself in a real mess. He was sort of half side on, and lucky that was a not out decision anyway.
Yes, I think he went to the wrong side here. Got himself in a bit of a tangle. Notice he comes onto the side opposite to where the ball's gone. Normally the umpires go across. And the other problem was that the batsman didn't run his bat in. Just keep an eye here on Arthurton's bat as he gets near. Instead of running it in, he sort of puts it down.
That's good value for that shot. Flying away for 4. The first boundary in 14 overs for the West Indies, so that's much needed 4 runs.
Yes, if you give him a little bit of room, and have a nice hard flash at it, anything can happen, and very often in one-day cricket the ball flies away through the vacant slip cordon area. And that's exactly what happened there.
That's well struck. What a glorious shot. He's not even running. I hope it goes all the way. The batsman has not moved from the crease. He really knew that was 4, Brian Lara. He just stood there and watched that ball race away to the cover boundary. Glorious stroke. After the batsman, look at that. That's 4. Border with a chance, hits it but not out. Beautiful piece of fielding by Border, coming in from mid-wicket, hit the stumps. Does this man ever miss?
Yes, he does quite often, but on this occasion he didn't. And the batsman was home easy. And umpire reporter right in position this occasion. Border in there quickly. Good throw by Border, and the batsman back in there by about 6 or 7 inches. So one way or the other, very hard to give, even if he was just out of his ground.
It's pretty straight. This time Steve Waugh unable to cut it off. The outfield's pretty fast, and he's not going to be able to catch it. It's a beautifully timed shot. It's one thing that has always been a hallmark of West Indian batting, is the magnificent timing.
didn't seem to hit that, too hard. But knowing Keith and knowing the physique that he carries, he's a strong little man.
Playing a lot straighter too, which I think is where he was making his mistake earlier in the summer. It's in the air and he's caught. And that's a wicket that the West Indies could ill afford to lose. Mike Whitney is happy. Craig McDermott is the fieldsman at mid-off, and Keith Arthurton is on his way back to the pavilion.
In the West Indies point of view, I think they could have done without that, because he was timing the ball pretty well. He looked pretty good, and I think what is needed now is for someone to give Brian Lara some support.
Just driving on the up, timing there a little astray. Mike Whitney just wished him all the best on the way back to the pavilion. And the West Indies now struggling at 4 for 83. Gus Logie is the new batsman for the West Indies. So every run is important in this situation. Just a few byes there. Ian Healy beaten by the flight. The West Indies at the end of the over, 4 for 91. Really ambitious run there, and finishes up being a chance for 2, although Craig McDermott's quickly onto it.
It looked at in the end that it was a reasonably judged single, because he got in with time to spare.
That's gone. It's a brilliant catch. Michael Whitney giving a bit of room for Gus Logie to drive. He's got a thick edge, which in one-day cricket is often a very good shot. But Ian Healy, up to it, has dived away to his right and taken a brilliant catch.
This is what I think one the cricket is all about, is when you do get a half chance, because I think he took that in front of a normal sort of a second or first slip, and that was a magnificent catch. You don't see much better.
You certainly don't, and that could well be the match-winning catch, a very important wicket for Australia. Gus Logie, who has failed to get a start again, is on the way back, and the West Indies, after in the middle of the 27th over, 5 for 99.
Favourites over.
Carl Hooper is the new batsman, as the West Indies now struggling.
That's a magnificent shot, Greg. But that's Brian Lara's 50. That's a perfectly played 50, well timed. I think he will need to get a little bit more than that, for West Indies to have any chance to win this game here tonight.
And he's gone. Caught it slip. They aren't. The last ball from Michael Whitney gets his 4th wicket. And Carl Hooper is caught it slip. And the West Indies' hopes of reaching the semi-finals are fading.
It was beautifully bowled. It cut away from the right hand, drew him into the stroke. And some of those viewers we were talking about in the Caribbean, they just have switched off. 6 for 117 in 31.
David Williams has played one innings of note so far in this competition, and that was an important innings, although West Indies still were beaten by New Zealand. Poor David Williams copped one on the side of the face there. Ian Healy, the keeper, throwing the ball back.
Must have been very close to being bowled. It's a slow ball from Moody. And then straight off his own bat. It's always very wise to wear a helmet when you're batting. You never know what might happen.
It's an easy catch, mid-wicket. Williams goes. Ball just lobbing up as he played across it, as he did in the last over, in fact. There was a leading edge which didn't quite carry back to the bowler, and now it just lobs to mid-wicket, and the West Indies lose their 7th wicket.
Not sure what that was. May have got up more sharply than he expected. But, he's not a very tall chap. Certainly got up to round about chest high. May have surprised him. But it's done West Indies no good at all. 7 for 128 in 35.
Bit of a surprise here in that Winston Benjamin is coming out in place of Curtly Ambrose.
Oh, it's a run out, miles out. He kept coming, and that's the end of Lara. He wanted one. Benjamin said no. Lara kept coming. A comedy of errors, and tragically for the West Indies, the end of what was a fantastic innings by Lara. Must have been pretty frustrating for him too.
Yes, he was yelling, come, come, come. Ball going from the inside edge of the bat onto the pads. By that stage, Brian Lara gave it away. Steve Waugh was the man who just dollied it to Tom Moody, gently lifted one bail, and then did the job for the umpire by putting the bail back on. Lara gone for 70. The West Indies 8 for 137.
Curtly Ambrose, the new batsman, 68 one-day internationals he's played. He's hit that one magnificently. That was right into the slot, and Winston Benjamin really let it go. And he hit it so well that the mid-off fieldsman there had no chance of cutting it off.
It's a lot of wrist work in this. And he needed it to, it was almost a Yorker, to dig it out and make it flash away to the boundary like that. It needed a lot of wrist work.
Oh, that could be out. Yes, he's given him, and he's, oh, I tell you what, stump abuse. Almost had to go at the stumps there. And that must be really frustrating. Benjamin won't get out of his block. And Curtly Ambrose is not happy at all.
Mind you, I think Benjamin sent him back with good reason on this occasion. I think Curtly is out of the Wes Hall school for running between wickets, where every ball that's delivered at you, you've got to run. Mark Taylor was the fieldsman on that occasion, who's thrown him down. Curtly Ambrose run out for 2. It's 9 for 150.
Anderson Cummins is the new batsman, just 25 years of age. Cummins is bottom has 5. Oh, big appeal, yes, and he's given him out. Out LBW, off the bowling of Waugh. So Benjamin given out, trying to play one of those wristy drives, and the Australians have won. And what's more, they've won pretty comfortably.
Well, Stevie Waugh, a little bit of late in-swing there, has just defeated Winston Benjamin's intended lofted-on drive. The West Indies have failed comfortably to achieve their target of winning this match and therefore a place in the semi-finals. It's been a very good performance belatedly by Australia.
That's an outstanding performance from the Australians to bowl out West Indies for 159. A victory for Alan Boyder's side by 57 runs and 44 balls to spare. A great effort. Brian Lara was the one to withstand the attack. He made 70 from 97. No one else really got going, and it was a very, very good performance. 42.4 overs. And the bowling figures for Australia, Craig McDermott started it all off with 2 for 29 in 6. He wasn't needed later on. 1 for 26 for Reid, and Whitney, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 34. 1 for 24 for Steve Waugh. So a great performance there from Alan Border and all his team. They beat Zimbabwe the other day, and now they've knocked off West Indies. Here's Ian Chappell with the 2 skippers and the player of the match.
Thank you very much, Richie. Well, the end of the Benson Hedges World Cup for both these teams. Firstly, the winning captain, Alan Border, I guess $3,000 will put a bit of a smile on your face. Oh, but yeah. I guess the problem, you beat all the teams below you, but no one above you.
Yeah, we didn't really get things going until those last 2 matches. You know, we just seemed to get the right field, team on the park, and things started to happen for us. Had a little bit of luck along the way, and in the other games, you know, we just didn't hit our straps. So, you know, we did everything we had to do tonight, but just didn't work out the right way. And in the end, I suppose we don't really deserve to be there.
David Boone has been such an important batsman in your team. A couple of run-outs in important games that probably hurt you as well.
Well, as you said, David's been the man in form all year, and without his runs we would have been really struggling. But yeah, a couple of those tight games where Booney was unfortunately run out, maybe, you know, if he'd gone on to make a big score, things could have been different. But there's a lot of ifs and buts, and just in the end, not quite good enough through this tournament.
All right, end of a long season, go and spend a bit of time on the golf course, I guess.
Definitely will be, Ian.
All right, all the best.
Thanks.
Losing captain Richie Richardson, $1,500 there, Richie. Disappointing, I guess, when you knew that you had to win the game, and the bowlers had done a good job.
Very, very disappointing, because we knew once we won this match, we would have been in the semi-finals. And after a very good performance in the field, it was very disappointing not to win this match.
The batting, and particularly the middle order batting, has been a problem, World Series Cup and now the World Cup.
Yeah, that has been our problem, and we came good in the last two games, and I thought that we had it right, but for some reason we didn't, you know, and we just have to work on our consistency.
Rightio, back to the Caribbean and a short series against South Africa now.
Yeah, we have one test match and 3 one-days against South Africa, and just looking forward to that series.
All right, good luck, safe trip home.
Thank you very much.
And man of the match, $500, and the Benson Hedges World Cup medal, David Boone. Another century, 2 in the 1 World Cup, that's a pretty fine performance.
Yeah, I've sort of been happy with the way I've been hitting the ball, and, you know, but as Alan said before, I think we're all a bit disappointed we didn't get it together early enough to make the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Yeah. You've been resting up there, what, the knee playing up again, is it?
Oh, just old age, mate.
Don't talk to me about it.
No, it's sort of been getting progressively a little bit worse over the tournament, and unfortunately tonight it really blew up a bit, so just have to wait and see what happens.
All right, go and put the feet up and have a good rest.
Thanks, Ian.
Rightio. Well, there we are, a happy man of the match. I think also happy that he'll be able to get some treatment on that leg. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Ian, and David Boone, deserved recipient of the Man of the Match award there. He has had a great summer. Back at the MCG in just a moment.